best.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizons Journalists Roundtable, state lawmakers approve a $9.8 billion budget. We'll discuss the details. And an initiative effort begins to fight recent changes in the initiative process. Journalists Roundtable is next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizons Journalists Roundtable. I'm Ted Simons. Joining us tonight, Rebecca Sanders of the Arizona Republic, Howard Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Jeremy Duda of the Arizona Capital Times. Arizona legislature passed a state budget early this morning, actually just a little bit after midnight, a $9.8 billion spending plan. Give us a 30,000-foot view here.
Well, the governor is dubbing this the education budget because it has about $200 million more in spending, and most of it goes to K-12. But of course, Democrats are crowing that this is too little for schools and that this is a disgrace given the dire needs in our education system. Overall,
$200 million in new spending. That's up, what, like 2%, something along those lines?
Yes, and that's been consistent with the kind of growth we've had in the last couple of years. Of course, the other half of the equation is say, look, well, we're giving you what we have, ignoring all the tax cuts that have been kicking in over the last couple of years. $170 million in new corporate income tax cuts, which you can tell how much have really stimulated the economy, plus another $10 million in tax cuts to buy votes. And so the question becomes, yes, is it good in terms of what you had to work with? Yes. The other question is, should the pie have been bigger if we hadn't done all these corporate tax cuts?
Is this the education budget?
Well, if you look at where the new spending went, definitely, of course, talk about most of this new spending went to education. That kind of the devil is in the details there, exactly where this is going. And this is where a lot of the fights happen and where the Democrats are grousing about the budget. You know, this wasn't just straight, funding to the, K-12 baseline. You had $38 million for Governor Ducey's performance-based school funding, you had early literacy programs, and you had a big fight over teacher raises and exactly how much that was going to be for. The governor started off the session, he wanted 2% over 5 years, 0.4% a year. You can supersize it a couple times a week for that. The legislative Republicans actually kind of pushed to make that 2% over 2 years, so it's a little bit more.
The university is obviously a major sticking point throughout this process. How did that all get worked out?
Right, so basically the governor had wanted to use some sales tax authority to help out the universities, but there was a lot of opposition from local government, cities and counties, who would have missed out on that revenue. And so instead, they've changed that and they're using the general fund as bonding authority for universities. I think that's the right description.
Yes.
And what you're doing is you're promising the universities, look, we'll let you borrow $1 billion, and we promise we'll give you not this coming fiscal year, but next fiscal year, $27 million to pay that back, and then another $27 million plus interest after that, and on and on. Now, of course, the promise is as good as whoever is in the legislature at the time. There is a clear need for funding at the universities. Not only have they cut the student aid from like 75% of what it costs to 38% or somewhere in there, but the buildings are starting to fall into disrepair. And if you want laboratories, if you want to do world-class research, you need the money. The political problem for the Democrats was you've got this big push for university capital funding, yet we had a little lawsuit filed over capital funding for public schools because we have buildings falling apart. We had a building in Glendale where the walls were literally collapsing. And so the Democrats were saying, nice, but you can't pit the universities against the public schools.
They were saying that, and there was for a time the idea that Democrats would have a say as far as university spending was concerned, K-12 spending, that they would be players on this budget. They did not wind up players, Jeremy. What happened?
No, certainly did not. Well, they kind of overplayed their hand, and the Republicans called their bluff. This looked like it was going to be the Democrats' kind of shining moment in the budget. You know, this bonding proposal, this has been the sticking point for Governor Ducey and the Republicans all session long, even after he scrapped this sales tax scheme that he was going to use to kind of pay for it and just turned it into a straight appropriation. A lot of the more conservative Republicans, they were very much against this. The Democrats stood up and said, hey, Governor, we're willing to make a deal, but what you have to give us for it is a 4% teacher raise over 1 year and a full restoration of the TANF benefits, temporary assistance for needy families, cash payments for low-income families. The governor was not really keen on making this deal, so he started giving out more goodies to the Republicans to get their votes. We ended up with a tax cut because of that. We ended up with money for freedom schools because of that. And then in the end, 7 Senate Democrats, once the cards were all on the table, voted for it anyway. So not only the Democrats not get anything they wanted, they actually lost out of this.
But then some of them are going to have a no vote on their record for teacher raises and for university funding, and those are going to be, you know, emblazoned on mailers that they didn't vote for this funding.
But did they overplay their hand here? Because they wanted 4% as opposed to 2% over a couple of years, and they wanted the cash assistance to be fully restored. And I guess that could have been maybe. Were those like all or nothing as far as the Democrats were concerned?
Well, as Jeremy said, I guess they went from the 0.4% teacher salary raise in 1 year to a 1% raise, so that's better.
Well, it kind of comes down to, you know, this was a missed opportunity on both sides. I think if the Democrats had said, look, you know, the TANF restoration that Jeremy talked about is like $30 million, I think, it maybe even less. And it's more of a philosophical thing. And perhaps they could have been had for that, and you wouldn't end up with money going to the freedom schools and another income tax cut. The 4% was never going to sell, but maybe there was some middle ground there. Perhaps you go to a third year of 1%, and had people actually been willing to talk to each other. There seem to be some misconnections here in terms of, you know, Rebecca Rios calling the governor, leaving a message, she calling him, you know, him calling her, leaving messages, and there was a real missed opportunity here for some dialogue.
So, as you mentioned, instead of the Democrats having a say in this, basically Republicans just pitched woo to the more conservative side of the party.
Sure, and Governor Ducey ended up getting his Republican-only budget that he wanted with a few Democratic votes, like as I mentioned on the bonding bills. I think some of them are probably getting some flack for that right now. I spoke with Senator Farley earlier. He mentioned, you know, hey, we still support university funding. You know, this was the best, bill that was available, so we voted for it. But I think there's an important point that Rebecca mentioned about kind of the political fallout of some of these votes. Is, you know, we have a re-election coming up next year for Governor Ducey. He has proclaimed himself pretty much the education governor. The Democrats have proclaimed him a terrible education governor, and these votes are all going to very much be a part of next year's election cycle.
And the other half of it is the prices, the pitching woo, as you put it, to the Republicans. One of the bills that got out to buy some votes says to cities you can only have sales tax elections on even-numbered years in November. Well, right now, cities can do that 4 times a year on even or odd-numbered years. You've got cities like Prescott that have elections on different cycles, like Tucson. And what makes this incredibly stupid, in my opinion, is there was a court ruling 5 years ago that said, no, you can't do this, that charter cities have these rights. But by George, we're going to go back and do that because it bought some votes. Then, of course, I love this tax cut. Right now, as an individual, you get to take off $2,100 from your income before you compute your taxes. So we're going to raise it by another $100. Well, guess what that means? If you're at the top tax rate, you know, your salary range of $150,000 and more, you know what that means? $4.54 a year. Real stimulative of the economy.
But not only that, there was a big push by these private firms that helped the developmentally disabled. And they wanted an $18 million increase along with their, $33 million because of the increase in the minimum wage. So at the same time, that was a no-go. Here comes a tax cut, comes sailing through. What's going on here?
Well, the developmental disability community, as you mentioned, they just did not get what they wanted. They got more, they had to because of Prop 206. Remember, we had a whole lawsuit from the Chamber of Commerce crowd over this. They lost, so the legislature has to pay up for this, but this is pretty much par for the course. The legislature has been underfunding these folks for years, and they're getting more money now because they obviously have to pay their employees more, but certainly not what they need or what they wanted.
Well, it's interesting to think about the possibility of Democrats were heavily in support of raising the minimum wage. That caused more costs down the line for government services. That is money that's being taken out of the budget now, or needs to be provided to these service providers that could go to other things. It's, you know, it's choosing your priorities.
Yeah, but the $10 million tax cut there, Howie, how much does that mean to the average person in an average life?
Well, I think in typical tax bracket, you're going to get about $2.63 in April when you file your tax return. I mean, that will, I don't even think that'll buy you a Big Mac, come to think of it. But by George, we're stimulating the economy here.
Something else that happened, and Rebecca, I know that you cover the county, gang enforcement funding. This is something that every year was, or most, let's put it this way. When Joe Arpaio was sheriff of Maricopa County, gang enforcement funding, gung-ho. He's not sheriff anymore. Gone?
That's right. So one sheriff out of 15 was stripped of this gang enforcement funding, and that was the Democrat that replaced Arpaio, Paul Penzone. So, of course, the sheriff is calling partisan politics. The money is going to go to Republican sheriffs in 2 other counties and to testing rape kits. And he says, look, we're using this to you know, go after drug cartels and interrupt you know, gangs and keep the public safe. And why are you doing this? Of course, it's a tiny fraction of his budget. But folks in the legislature are saying, well, it's also gang and immigration enforcement funds, and you've, you know, said you're not going to be tough on immigration like Joe Arpaio was, so why do you need this money?
Well, how often does something like this happen? I mean, this is relative.
Politics?
No, not politics, blatant politics.
Well, it happened, you know, a number of years ago when I seem to remember the same funds being taken away from a Democrat sheriff in Pima County and be given to a certain Republican sheriff in Maricopa County. No, this happens clearly all the time, and you know, this issue of somehow that because Paul Penzone said he's not going to do what Joe Arpaio did on immigration, we should take the money away. Well, you might also remember that Sheriff Arpaio had cost the state, what, $70 million in legal fees over some of his immigration policies. So, you know, I can understand Mr. Penzone's desire not to follow in those footsteps.
And what else is kind of interesting about this, you have the new Republican sheriff down in Pima County, Sheriff Napier. He is not a big immigration enforcement guy either. He certainly hasn't gone as far as Paul Penzone, who said he wasn't going to do courtesy holds for ICE anymore before he kind of backtracked on it. But Sheriff Napier's made it clear. He said, my deputies are not immigration agents. We're not going to be out there enforcing immigration law. But I guess that's still a bit short of where Penzone went.
But he's a Republican.
He is a Republican. A Republican in deep blue Pima County.
There is some other good news for counties in the budget. I cover Maricopa County, so I've been watching that. Counties are really strapped right now. They have been paying for some of the state's programs since the recession when they stepped in to try and help balance the budget, but it's continued and continued. And now we're talking about 2 small counties, Graham and La Paz, that are possibly near bankruptcy because of this. But in this budget, there was some relief, some extra transportation money, some extra lottery money, some extra money on the juvenile corrections side. So counties are, pleased that they made out a little bit better than they were expecting, but it's going to be a problem that's, needs to be solved in the next year or 2.
Back to the politics of this, Representative Anthony Kern, quote, elections have consequences. We're talking law enforcement funding here, Howie.
Well, that's true, but his argument, as was mentioned, is that if the sheriff of this county isn't going to enforce the immigration laws to the extent we think he should, why should we help him out financially? We can put the money to use somewhere else. And then, of course, the argument of the governor's office is, well, but we've got these untested rape kits, and we're going to shift the money for that. Now remember, this is a little bit of an excuse because the governor's original budget proposal had the money for the rape kits. So this is a little bit of a shell game here in terms of, oh, here's what we're using the money for.
All right, Jeremy, this is going to be all done here next week. Legislature should be a sine die, should be adios.
Looks like Monday or Tuesday, that'll be it for the session. There's not a lot of bills left to really take care of, not a lot of controversial ones, although anything, sine die, anything can come back. The consolidated elections bill that Howie mentioned that actually failed over in the Senate, almost certainly going to come back. A couple other things on initiatives and referenda, that'll probably be back. But by the midpoint of next week, they'll be out of there.
Are we going to see what we often see at this time of year, and that is a bunch of lawmakers with dozens and dozens of bills that most of them, I don't think, have ever even read or looked at being voted on at the last second. Is that going to happen again? Is there an avalanche approaching?
Oh, of course. That's what sine die is for passing weird legislation in the dead of night when no one's looking.
Well, but this isn't quite as bad as Congress, where sometimes nobody gets to read a bill. With a few exceptions where you can suspend the rules, the bills have been through at least one committee somewhere. And so this isn't totally, out of the dark of night or out of Dr. Frankenstein Ducey's little box of tricks.
So, Governor, a winner in this budget?
Well, he's got headlines that he can tout in his re-election campaign, and he can say, I raised teacher salaries. But I think you saw a lot of pushback when his proposed budget came out that had very small salary raises. I think that teachers are, potentially going to be up in arms about this and not forget it.
And that's obviously going to have implications, for the upcoming election. David Garcia already in the race, making education the issue. Steve Farley may be getting in, whether he gets kicked back over the university funding. But education is going to be the issue for 2018.
The issue on Capitol Hill this week was the Affordable Care Act. The House repealed much of the Affordable Care Act. But a major concern to Arizona, $839 billion cut to Medicaid over the 10 years. What is the impact on this state of those Medicaid cuts?
Well, one of the biggest impacts the state will see if this bill gets through the Senate in its current form, which it almost certainly won't, is that this will put some caps on Medicaid expansion, some pretty severe caps, and this is, this is a major impact. You remember a few years ago, Governor Brewer, ramrodded this thing through the legislature, and it's expanded, the Medicaid rolls by hundreds of thousands. Now, what the American Health Care Act would do is, starting in 2020, it would end the enhanced federal funding for this Medicaid expansion population. The folks who are already enrolled, they're grandfathered in, but the new people, they will not be able to enroll anymore. And this, because of a vagary of the 2013 law, this will pretty much end our Medicaid expansion program, potentially cost us $500 million to keep a lot of this going.
And that's the question.
I've heard that more than once, is this effectively ends Medicaid expansion in Arizona.
And the question is, do we keep it going? Because this was the argument that people like Andy Biggs raised at the time, is when the federal money dries up, and it will eventually, do we make it self-destruct, which is the way the bill is built, or is the political reality is that once you say we're going to kick 400,000 people off of health care in Arizona, we're not talking some 24 million somewhere out in the ether there. We're talking real people, folks that people know, and say, no, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for health care anymore because you're making way too much, because you're making over $17,000 a year for your family. That becomes a particularly political, tricky problem here. And we're going to have to see where the resources are and whether the legislature is in fact willing to say, no, we're going to let these people go without coverage.
Now, there are, on the Medicaid expansion, I think there are really two sides to this. Remember, there is the expansion population, people who earn over 100% of the federal poverty level, up to, I believe, 138%. But then there's the childless adults below that, up to 100%, who the state of Arizona was technically supposed to be covering before, but we had cut that during the Great Recession. Now, just keeping those folks, and if you don't, that state's open to potentially another lawsuit. That's, about 108,000 people would drop off the rolls just from that population, and that would cost us, I think, more than $400 million to keep just them, not counting the folks over 100%.
Now, this is where it gets real tricky. Those folks are basically being paid for by an assessment on the hospitals. This is the case that's still up before the courts here, because the expansion is being paid for by the feds, but the hospitals figured, well, more people expanded, we'll be happy to pay to backfill in those. So if the expansion goes away, do the hospitals keep paying, figuring well, if we can get some more people who have coverage,
Right.
Does that help us in the long run? Or at that point, is it, gee, the deal's broken, and sorry, but we're not going to collect your $300 million a year.
What are we doing collecting this when there's no deal?
But if the federal funding goes away, then Access, the state of Arizona, is no longer legally authorized to collect that money from the hospitals,
Right.
and that undermines all the entire structure.
You had mentioned that this now goes to the Senate, and it's pretty clear it's not going to go. It's not going to. If it does wind up as anything that hits the president's desk, it's not going to look awful similar to what's going on here. But still, these are moving goalposts here. What are you hearing from law? I mean, someone's going to have to make a decision regarding something here down the pike.
Oh yeah, and we're hearing, Senate Republicans are already saying, hey, when we send this back to the House, guys, don't expect it to really look anything like this. There's a lot of concerns from people, especially like in expansion states, what it'll do, concerns about pre-existing conditions, concerns about a lot of provisions of this that if they get rid of, send it back to the House, it's not going to pass. Remember how tough it was for them to actually get the votes for this in the House.
Right, but what about state lawmakers? Are folks kind of watching this? Are we hearing any kind of reaction, or are they just waiting for the next shoe to drop?
Well, you've got the initial reaction from Republicans was, this is great, we better get rid of Obamacare, and we've always said this, and the Democrats saying the world is going to end. But the political reality, the fiscal reality, hasn't hit them yet. They're responding politically. If you're a Republican, you get rid of Obamacare. You're a Democrat, you love it. But I think that until they actually see what comes out of the Senate, and then they can decide, well, okay, now let's look at the reality of what we have to do, then maybe some more moderate voices will come up.
Former Attorney General Grant Woods, former Phoenix Mayor Paul Johnson, they're teaming together to fight these measures that have been put out there to put limits on initiatives and referenda. Are they going to say, I mean, you're asking the public to vote on whether or not they like limits on the public voting. I mean, it sounds like it's a done deal, but they got to get the signatures.
That's right, and they don't have much time, only about 90 days from when the session ends. So they've got to work fast, and I would say that, there was outcry during the legislative session against some of these measures, which would make it much harder for special interest groups and grassroots groups to put things on the ballot by collecting signatures. It would be more expensive and would be, time in court potentially. So folks fought that at the legislature, but they lost. They weren't able to put enough pressure on the governor not to sign it. And so I wonder, in the middle of the summer, when it's really hot and it's the most difficult to collect these signatures, can they do it?
Well, the good news for them is they only need about 75,000 valid signatures. It's far easier to do that than an initiative to propose a whole new law. The second thing they have working for them is there are a whole bunch of groups out there who have a selfish reason for wanting to preserve the initiative process, which is we've been to the legislature to do things, they've ignored us. Whether it's medical marijuana, ban on leg hold traps, ban on cockfighting. Heck, the reason you can't smoke in bars is because the folks went to the ballot to do that.
And Republican and conservative issues as well, limiting certain property taxes and things like that.
Yeah,
and so you may be able to build what Joe Uhas called a Star Wars style of coalition on this.
We're going to have Grant Woods on the program Monday. We'll get much more into this, but because we have you here, Rebecca, and you cover the county, we've only got a couple of minutes left here. And Adrian Fontes, the Maricopa County Recorder, is talking about voter registration forms and folks who should have been able to vote not being able to vote. Give us encapsulate this, please.
Sure. So this is a fight that goes back more than a decade when Arizonans, through the initiative process, passed limitations on voter registration. If you're using a state-issued voter registration form, you have to provide a copy of your passport, birth certificate, a driver's license, different things that can prove that you are a citizen. What has happened all these years is when that form comes in, and let's say a voter didn't have their driver's license with them and didn't write anything down.
Right.
So they haven't provided proof of citizenship. Those forms would go in a box into the warehouse. A reminder letter would be sent to that applicant. And if they didn't respond, it was, we're done. So Adrian Fontes, the new Democrat who's taken over the recorder's office since being elected last year, is saying, I'm going to hire staff, and he has hired staff to research our state information systems to find out if these folks are citizens. And if I can figure it out myself, I'm adding them to the rolls.
Is that the job of the Maricopa County Recorder?
Well, it depends on who you talk with. If the job of the county recorder is to make sure that anybody who is legally eligible to vote can vote, then yes. If you believe the job of the county recorder is simply to file what people file and not pursue it anymore, then no. And so this is a philosophical debate and perhaps more than a legal debate.
What are you seeing out of all this?
I mean, this is Adrian Fontes. He loves picking some of these fights against the some of the Republican passed laws. He just took over this big Republican county. Republican legislature's been passing a lot of these laws for years that Democrats don't like the voter ID stuff. He is raring for a fight, and he looks like he's going to get it. I
think it is a legal question in that there are statutes and election manuals that lay out the steps. When you look at them, it seems to prohibit what he's doing. On the other hand, you can interpret it in a variety of ways.
Found it interesting that Tom Horn came out and said, I think he's fulfilling the statute.
It made my jaw drop when I was talking to Tom Horn, our former Arizona Attorney General, who defended this voter ID law before the Supreme Court. I remember being in the chambers and reporting on him giving a full-throated defense of this. And I called him expecting him to say, oh, of course Adrian can't do that. And yet he said, oh, that sounds reasonable.
All right. We got to stop it. Very interesting. Got to stop it right there. Good to have you all here. Thanks for joining us. Monday on Arizona Horizon, we will have more on the move to ask voters to overturn recently passed limits on citizens' initiative process. And we'll look at the state of Arizona's water infrastructure. That's Monday, 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great weekend.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
Next time on Latin Music USA.
But a Mexican rock and roll? There ain't no such thing. I said, hold on, pal.
Mexican Americans find their own musical voice. And a handful of superstars take Latin music into the heart of American culture.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
See this flower garden? There used to be a car sitting there, a car I didn't use and didn't want. So I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything. In addition to supporting my favorite programs, I earned a tax deduction. Turn something you don't need into something you really want. Contact the Vehicle Donation Program.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on The Coroner.
To the West Country Pub of the Year.
After a business rival aggravates Mick,
Come round here again, I will smash your head in.
he's found dead under a rock fall.
Just a freak accident.
But when it looks like murder,
Killed by a single blunt trauma injury to the skull.
Mick is the prime suspect.
I'm gonna have to place you under arrest.
And only Jane can save him.
I need you to prove it wasn't me.
No, I'm trying.
The